Hello and welcome, millions and millions of friends around the planet. Best puck season is officially here. Football is officially over. Matt, how are you doing on this fine, festive, fall feeling Thursday?
I am doing great. I have no complaints. We've got football on the TV and tennis on the iPad. The women's semis are today. It looks like Jess Pagula is going to fall short, but we'll see.
The Buffalo
See what
native.
happens here. Yes.
Yeah.
I
Apologies
don't think
for
she's a
the
Buffalo
delay.
native.
Okay, well, she is to me. Apologies for the delay
Right.
getting started. We were both trying to just see if we could get on Underdog because it wasn't working for me at all. And I was like, I must be going crazy. And then Matt couldn't get in either. So if anyone else is trying and not succeeding, it finally worked. We are in the lobby. Just wanted to make sure we could get in before we started.
No,
We do need two to get going.
I'm in the lobby, but I can't see the draft. So
mine finally loaded. I could
Yeah.
not. I mean, they must be working hard to get the
All right.
NFL contest live. But yeah, I'm a
Yeah.
little concerned about that. But we'll give it a go. I mean, let's give it a try. Only two
Yeah.
needed to get going. Matt,
Yes,
what's up?
and so while we wait, I will just mention a couple. Obviously we're still in the dead of the off season, so there's not a ton of like news happening. But the Athletic did release their fantasy projections. Dom Lashushin, Dom L at the Athletic released that. Him and I think Shayna is a part of it. But that's sort of like one of the main things that's out there publicly. So those are interesting to comb through. I'm sure you did not.
It's still, no, I did not. Is it still adjustable?
Yes, and also Corey Pronman posted starting last week, but also into Tuesday, his top prospects for each team. And by prospects, I mean under 23 players, so like including NHL players who are just under 23, which is always a super interesting read. And on Tuesday, the top 150 came out, so like ranking, 1 to 150, which it always makes people angry and stuff, which is always fun. So couple of sort of news related items, especially prospects and their projections and stuff. I find that really interesting. So yeah, there was that out there. So if you are an Athletic sub, you can read both of those. I read all 32 teams. Just hunkered down this weekend and did it. So I'm ready to go for my dynasty drafts, and I don't know. I don't think I learned anything that's like, oh, I'm definitely drafting this guy now. But, it's nice to read the blurbs about Michkov and Cutter and whatnot.
The GOATs, as everyone calls them, including, I believe, their coaches now, because both of their coaches, either Michkov and Cutter, right? Both their coaches gone, new coaches in. That's best to make the GOATs actually even more GOAT-like. One thing I learned while we have some time, because we're still waiting on two, is that, and again, this is unconfirmed. This is what my wife said. She said that Capri was named Capri because it has something to do with goats, and there's wild goats on the island. And I will now be venturing off to find these wild goats. And I will just be like, Michkov, Cutter, and they'll just be like, and then I'll be like, oh, there they are. All right, hey guys.
Yeah.
They know you were here.
All right, yeah, we do need two. I'm now in the draft finally. So
this is big. I don't see.
Let me get my sharing set up.
Oh, the downloadable sheet. Okay, this will work. This will work.
All right, now get you over here.
Okay, no, I don't want. Okay, still waiting on two. Open with Google Chrome. I might need to do this on my work computer. No one has got to know about it.
I hope you get fired for it.
The thing is, like, I wouldn't be surprised if, like, all of a sudden something loads and we're like in the 5th round already, because this is Penn. Like, I mean, nothing has changed. I tried to enter this draft a good 12 times before it finally looks like it worked. I might be broke. Yeah. I might be borrowing credit at this point. I clicked it so many times. But only needing two. Does feel good. This, if you're watching right now and you're not in this draft, this could be a golden opportunity to take advantage of like 8 auto drafters that are sitting there watching foosball. Just absolutely jam them in. So yeah, Tu was asking the question that I was trying to answer for him, but can you tweak them to UD? Yes, you're supposed to be able to tweak them to the UD scoring system. I think you can add hits and everything too. If it would work on my computer, I would, Underdog, not the only thing not working well. My problem is that I don't have Excel on my computer because I don't pay for it because I just put everything on my work computer and it won't load anywhere else.
That's so funny. I mean, it is nice of you to assume I have not already done that, but I have already done that. So
why can't I just load it in Sheets?
There's literally a Sheets link, DJ.
I'm okay. You talk and be smart. Let me be stupid.
All right.
As opposed to normal win.
Right. That's very, very new. So this is the sheet from The Athletic. Paywall. Don't use this if you don't pay for The Athletic. But also, if you don't pay for The Athletic, I don't really understand why you're playing a hockey. Why are you playing hockey shit when the only site that is actually somewhat invested in covering hockey, just pay them to read their stuff. Scoring settings are obviously quite simple. You just input what underdog scoring is. ADP doesn't matter. Games played, yes or no. I usually use no. I just left it as yes for now because I didn't do much with it. Obviously, it's points, not categories. Forward separation. So you can do it one of two ways. You can just do forwards together and not worry about the center wing discrepancy. We've talked about the extra flex, meaning that roster builds are a lot more, there's just more ways to build with the extra flex. And I think that mostly benefits centers, versus last year, the 3-7-3-3 was a strict rule. So you can clump all forwards together. What I did is I did center, left wing, right wing. We will talk about that in a second. Replacement level. This is where another point of discussion comes in. Obviously 12 teams, and then this is just leaving sort of their manual boosts in that they made because they also watched the games and wanted to boost certain players that they felt the numbers weren't right on. Anyway, you can kind of do this one of two ways in the starting lineup. The first way I did it was, first off, I changed every right winger to a left winger. That just made it easier. I also, you're going to see that there's multi-position eligibility on like Fantrax and Yahoo. It's a bit of find and replace, but that I changed. By the way, are you keeping tabs on this draft? Are we just
still need to?
All right. Make sure you join this draft if you are watching. Anyway, so first off, you need to do some, nonsense to get everyone to a left wing and get all the formulas up to date. Especially like on these tabs, you gotta know Excel to do this, honestly. But you can figure it out with find and replace fairly easily. And then you can do it one of two ways. You can build the full out rosters. So for example, you can do 3-7-3-3 for these positions. What I did is I just sort of assumed that I'm drafting, one goalie, or, I'm starting one goalie, and I can start, I did 2 centers, 3 wings, and 2 goalie or 2 D-men. Obviously, that's one extra player than would score, but that felt like a fair way to say, okay, I don't want to overvalue, the positional replacement value of a certain position because I don't know where the flex will come from. But that sort of better calibrates goalies, because if you do the 3-7-3-3, it just shoots goalies up the board, which I found interesting. But anyway, what that led us to is I have not made any adjustments, for anything I think. All these pluses and minuses are not me. It's Dom and Shayna. This is the quote-unquote list of your top fantasy players on Underdog for the season. You may notice pretty much first round is the first round. The only guys missing are Kyle Connor down here at 20, and I guess Connor Hellebuck too. But again, he's goalie 1, so not a huge surprise there. So I guess, DJ, I'll let you talk now. Kyle Connor projecting a bit lower than the rest of the crop at the forward position here in the first 11 picks. Does that change how you're thinking at all about Kyle Connor, and what's your specific outlook for him this year as far as like replicating what they did last year and where he fits in at the turn?
I mean, it's funny. There's one thing I'm going to say that I'm going to kind of get long-winded on for a second and then kind of get into my projection. What?
Yeah, what the hell? No, I've not seen Kyle Connor down at this ADP for.
No, yeah, he has moved down a little bit, but regardless, I think that there's a kind of a narrative out there, a narrative street, and it makes a lot of sense. You look at Winnipeg and you say, well, this is probably one of the few teams that got worse. I don't see a scenario where they got better. And then you look at a lot of the underlyings and you say, well, a lot of these underlyings seem unreasonable. There's no way they could, do what they just did last year. Have the best goalie in the world, but by a decent margin. I'd say not decent, but a pretty good margin, right? There's no way that they're going to do this again. The power play, unrealistically good. I think it was much better than anyone could have anticipated. Now, was Ehlers a big part of it? Not really. But let's just, assume that it's even like close to what it was at. The thing about Kyle Connor, wait, what?
Sorry, I think the site's just dead. I'm trying. Okay, I've clicked Kyle Connor to remove him, and it took like 3 minutes to remove him from my queue. So
I have had zero freaking luck. I actually got kicked out. I tried to click on something and I got completely logged off Underdog, which is concerning. I'll be honest. I'm back in now, which is part of the reason why I was maybe some people saw me like this, like what the looked like I was a cat chasing a mouse, as what would happen in the Moody household. Anyways, the point on Kyle Connor is that one of the unrealistic stats, if you will, about the Winnipeg Jets is a trend that you'll see around kind of the entire league is its shooting percentage, and is his shooting percentage going to compete? How did he possibly shoot at this? I think a lot of people are forgetting that like the NHL as a whole saw an incredible amount of shot reduction overall in the league. Look at every goalie from year to year as how many saves they had. Even guys like Hellebuck went down by a pretty substantial margin. And that's because the NHL has gotten, I guess, much more accurate with tracking their shots and has been, taking way more off the board. So I'm not all of this to say, I think if you just look at all the underlying stats and you listen to all the people, they're going to give you kind of this bill of goods that the Jets couldn't possibly repeat what they did last year. And I think there's a percentage of that's correct. But what does that actually look like? I don't think it looks like he is out of the second round, for example, or I think it looks like he's going around, if he's pretty close with his shooting upside, with his goal upside that we saw coming, like we projected him to be a lot better. I think it's just him finishing just a little bit, maybe worse than where he's going now, but honestly, maybe not. Like the entire league is going to see this exact same stat where if you look at almost every player, you're going to find that like 80% of them have better shooting percentages than they've almost ever had. And that's just because of the change in the stats that's happened over this year.
Yeah.
So I think
I'm just doing the expected shooting percentages for each player in the league based on what the Athletic has. And yeah, they're projecting 14% for Kyle Connor.
Like that is going to drive him. Like that is the thing that like logically, mathematically, everything about it makes total sense, except for the fact that there's this massive outlier that no one else is considering. I think we're the only I don't even know if we talked about it on stream before, but like nobody seems to want to talk about the fact that the NHL saw just all of the stats are wrong.
Yeah. People, I mean, you put it well, but I will just explain it again. And I guess the way I think about it, because I think it's a super important thing to listen to, because again, you got it exactly right. People are talking about the shooting percentage going up in the NHL, and they're basically trying to figure out why that is, and they're like, well, shooters are more selective because the goalies are so good and blah blah blah, cat and mouse. When you look at the numbers behind it, I think this was as of like March of last year, so it might not be exactly right for the full season, but shot attempts year over year were down. They were down maybe 1.4%, I think it was. Shots on goal were down 7%. So, that to me was an indication that, okay, this isn't something like, they're just taking better shots. It's the tracking is changing. And I mean, we know this. DJ, you are the shot prop better guy who goes on Twitter every day to complain about, this guy took a shot in the Zapruder film, maybe had it going a hair to the right of the net post, and now it's not a shot, and I got screwed, and blah, blah, blah. Like, that's happening because I think the NHL said, hey, these betting partners, they're getting fucked on the overs when you do the goalie makes a save because it's going 10 feet wide and he catches it and that's a shot on goal. We can't have that. So I do think that's what's happening, and there is going to be a downhill effect as far as shooting percentages, because those shots that don't turn into goals ever, the shots that are wide of the net, the shots that are high of the net, that are just being saved and being counted as shots 3 years ago, are no longer being credited as a shot on goal for these players. So that means there's more weight given to the shots that do go on target, that do, have a chance to go in the net. So and that it should apply to all players equally, but I'm sure there are edge cases where, that the certain player will just be more likely to fall victim to that, especially guys. I'm thinking of guys who shoot from wider positions, snipers, Kyle Connor, Leon Draisaitl. They might not be necessarily equally impacted as, Brady Tkachuk, who's jamming it from 4 feet away into the pads of the goalie.
Yeah, no, I mean, everything that we're saying here, I think matters a little bit, but it makes up on the course of the season more than I think people will assume. And for guys like Kyle Connor, I think it actually impacts just a hair more than, like I'm saying, like, again, like I don't think it's going to lead to him being a top 12 player, but I think it does still keep him in the range of 15, 16, 17 in the scoring system. And again, it's like what delineation between 20 and 15, 16 over the course of the weeks leading up to the playoffs, not a huge impact. You need it in the playoffs, where it's going to matter most. And so he's still very draftable. I don't think there's any problem with it, is I guess the point I'm making. And that's the case for a lot of the players at the top.
Yeah, a couple, I'll do something more substantial, I think, on my newsletter, or maybe a YouTube video where I go through it and actually talk about specific ADPs. Since I actually don't know if, I'm guessing people are trying to draft, or maybe there is a draft going, and we just aren't able to do it. So maybe this was a bad idea to stream on opening NFL night, but hey, we don't often have good ideas here. Okay, yeah, I don't know. Someone in chat, let us know if we start drafting, I guess, because I do not know what to do. A couple of names that jumped out to me: Adrian Kempe being 27th overall, wing 13. I'm going to almost, I can assure you that's not where he is going currently, but I can't look at it right now. Mo Seider, D6. Very interesting. I feel like he and Uyghur are a very similar story, but Uyghur's role is much more in question. I think this assumes he's power play 1 all year, whereas versus, Zane Parekh, if he makes a team, certainly will get a look at that top power play if it struggles at all. So this, I think, is Uyghur's absolute upside case. But even then, that's still a pretty decent value over where he currently is. I should also have mentioned Rasmus Dahlin being D2. It's just very hard to get someone as gifted as he is offensively with the sort of rates he puts up at a blocks and hits level. I'm going to guess this blocks plus hits number leads the league. At least among, actually draftable players. Maybe there's, I think
Seider.
Actually this is the Seider and Uyghur stuff.
Yeah,
so.
I was going to say.
Yeah, anyway. I guess this is sort of like a tier down, but like 2 tiers above offensively, which, it's very hard to keep him like in check projection wise. So I found that interesting because, Dahlin is pretty comfortably, I think, D4 at the moment. And then one more guy before we get to some of our personal favorites. I guess Elias Pettersson, we kind of got to say, okay, these are what the numbers say. DJ, are you a buyer on the Elias Pettersson redemption arc that the Athletic is projecting here?
I'll say if that's, you made a few points here. Number one, Kempe is wing 20, not, what was it, 9? I think you had, or was it 13? 13. So, value based on that. 2 was the Uyghur Seider thing. I feel like I have drafted a lot more Mo Seider than Uyghur, and I don't know if we want to have a debate about those two. Very similar reasons to draft either of them. And then 3, Elias Pettersson. I mean, I on my last weekend I went to see the Black Keys, and I don't know what it was, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna throw on the freaking Skate Pettersson jersey for the concert. And I had a bunch of people that was like, yes. And I was like, yeah, right. And they're like, that is such a cool jersey. Now, did any of them make fun of Elias Pettersson? No. Should they have? Yeah, based on recent performance. But if we really, remember what he was at an age that seemed like the sky was the limit. I mean, this could have been a guy that I think quite legitimately was going McKinnon, Matthews, McDavid, maybe a couple guys in front of him. And then you were talking that was the path Pettersson was on. I mean, as a 100-point every single year type of guy. What has happened seems undetermined, but he's what, 25, 26? I mean, this is a very young player that should be entering his prime that has the offense centered around him still, even with the poor performance. So if he can get it back, I mean, I don't know what you possibly could want more than everything to go right. And these are the guys that I like to buy on personally, because if I think it's a value based on the optimal outcome, that's what I'm going to be drafting. I'm drafting for him to get back to that form. And I think it's in there somewhere, but where, hopefully we find it this year.
Okay. And then just for shits and giggles, we're gonna go hunting for some of our boys. Dylan Guenther seems pretty reasonable. I mean, 33 goals was, I want to say it was top 10. Or no, not top 10, top 20, I guess. Yeah, 23rd.
Yeah, I could look, but
yeah, so somewhere around here. Projected alongside Boldy, Forsberg, Jason Robertson, who go well ahead of him. So interesting. I mean, there's other guys that pop out too based on that look. But 14% shooting percentage, I would be interested to see what he was at last year, because the volume that this guy shoots at is, I think, a bit underrepresented here. Also, I guess, hold on, 75 games is interesting as a projection. Maybe I'll just do that. I think it was Tom mentioned that if you change, Tom said if you change everyone to 82 games, that moves some stuff. So let's just do that. I don't really know. That's all voodoo to me. It says the guy who's drafting Ovi at age 40 with no incentive to break the goals record this year. So, I mean, it is what it is. All right, let's resort this bad. Did I break something? All of a sudden, everything broke.
Good break. Oh, we're starting. We're starting. I think we're only getting one draft in tonight, fellas. Moods at the 2, DJ at the 4. Oh my God, it's account MC at the 1. Kitties at the 3. I mean, this is friends and family galore. Tua, President 12.
Oh, that's unfortunate. It destroyed the Darlene conversation we just had. He gets passed by Werenski and Yossi accounting. That's a weird thing. Why is? I mean, what it shows you is that these differences are so narrow that, it's not a huge difference, obviously. But that is interesting. Why is Matthew Tkachuk? Well, I know why Matthew Tkachuk is here, because you just said 82 games. Jesus Christ, I'm an idiot. All right, are we actually?
Yeah.
Yes, oh my God, we're actually in.
Why would I lie about that? I said where people were drafting in the order. You think I just made
no. I was not saying toward you. I was saying, am I actually able to present the board, or is it just stuck loading for me?
Oh,
that's what I was concerned with.
Okay, hold on. I'm trying to update
things
here. Shot.
Kitties. Definitely Tom. Definitely names I recognize here though across the board, except I think Muddied and Scold. I don't recognize those guys. All right, I will take Mr. McDavid. I haven't really changed on that front. I'm getting enough Matthews at 3 and even 4 sometimes that I don't feel the need to take Matthews 101 or 102. But I think I'm just going to keep taking McDavid 101. I don't know. He's Connor McDavid. I took McKinnon at 102 the other day, and I'm hoping that maybe if McDavid's ADP moves up to like 1.7, people will just sort of let me balance that out a bit more reasonably by, half of my twos will then be McKinnon because people are just going McDavid. But I just genuinely think McDavid is a one of a kind. So, yeah, that's kind of my thought there.
I like the thought. You know what I honestly feel like I just learned, but no, I think that's right. I thought shutouts counted in underdog until right now.
No.
Have they never counted? I guess not. I don't think they must not have. Maybe I'm just so used to the regular season where they do count. I think pretty sure they count the regular season. But I know nothing. I am stupid. I know nothing. Okay, good. Boom or bust on. Do I want that on? Forward separation. Can I just do forward separation as wing? Will it no?
No, it doesn't know. I talked about this.
You did say that. Oh,
Mark does have the point. Some teams will play 77 games in the underdog schedule. Other teams will play 75 games. So maybe we need Mark to go in and manually adjust all of the inputs to match their number of underdog games.
This is true. This is a fact. That is true.
All right.
I don't know.
Anything interesting
in the world?
Pretty standard first round. Draisaitl at 5. Is that where ADP is currently? I would say because I'm also in slow drafts right now, so I'm seeing a lot of Draisaitl's moving up a bit toward 5. So I might be seeing ADPs are out of date when I'm clicking on my active drafts during the day. So I think Kyle Connor though is very interesting. I think after Connor, there's definitely a cliff. I get why Marner's moving up the board because Eichel, but I kind of consider Marner behind Connor in this respect. But like once Forsberg, Nylander, Connor, once those guys go, like obviously I think highly of Reinhart, Boldy, Panarin, but like I just think that those guys are a clear tier separated. So almost anytime I'm getting like the 108, 109, I'm getting two guys that I really like, which is, always a lot of fun versus the middle of the first round is not as great. And then obviously the beginning of the first round, you're getting one of the absolute mega stars. So I guess I'm sort of preferring the turns at the moment.
At 21, at the round 2 for me, I grabbed Vasilevsky, highest ADP value left. Ooh. I don't think I've gotten a Vasilevsky Kucherov team yet. Not that that's a huge that matters, a ton, but interesting.
Me.
It is you.
What's this guy gonna pick? What's he gonna pick?
Feels like an absolute no-brainer. Matt goes with Panarin.
We'll see if your two friends give you Kucherov, Vasilevsky, Gensel.
I mean, that would be the optimal, but for me, I would accept Point or Gensel for sure. I think it's a tough turn. Yeah. It is a tough turn. Actually, this is actually the easiest turn I've ever seen because Werenski and Hughes went.
Oh yeah.
Let's look at the questions really quickly. We'll go all the way back up to your thoughts on Jaden Blue being a healthy scratch week 1. I've actually cried for 20 minutes. Rip a Drafters. Oh, yep. Drafters is dead. Gensel comes to me.
Said anything yet?
No, I'm not going to ask. I don't really have all that much interest. We went over the Kempe ADP. Joined. Jarvis. Jarvis is interesting. Quite a bit low in the Dom ratings. Haven't combed through a lot yet. Still, so just kind of getting it up right now on my screen. Looking it over. But Jarvis is definitely an interesting case. Like I said, I keep not drafting him, not because I don't think he's good. It's just hard to click the button comparatively to Gunther when I just have a good bit higher. That's just a tough click for me.
Yeah.
Only need one more starting. We're live. Use him over this. And then next,
I want to see.
I think it is the Vasi Kucherov anti-correlated was sort of the question that popped up that I wanted to eventually get to. mean, I don't really see a reason why they would be anti-correlated. Like Kucherov scoring doesn't hurt Vasilevsky. Kucherov scoring a ton helps Tampa win, helps Vasilevsky get points, and potentially even more save opportunities. So I don't see an anti-correlation. I also just don't think it matters much. Like over the course of the entire season, is the best goalie going to be rewarded by the best player being one of, if not the best players in the league? I mean, again, I think it's marginal at best. Matt, any thoughts on, your like, oh, I took McDavid, now I want Stuart Skinner more, for example, or I took Matthews, now I'm maybe Tampa's a little bit different. You could look at more of like a Kaprizov and Gustafsson, like that actually gets you to move the needle at all, or is it just a non-factor?
I would much rather prioritize stacking the skater. Like in your case, I guess it does matter to some respect, like, because obviously if McDavid has a bad year, it's not likely that Stu Skinner's possibly getting something like 35, 30 wins. It's possible. I guess last year what that happened because Draisaitl went apeshit, and you just didn't need McDavid to be otherworldly for the team to be really good. But they didn't even win their division last year. So how much is that worth? I don't know. So sure, it's a little meaningful. I'm pretty I honestly feel like I'm pretty zen about like the goalie stuff. Like I literally just, if I feel like taking a goalie, I take a goalie. And what I just want to avoid is getting to a situation where I'm sitting here at 11-2 and I have one good goalie and I'm looking at a bunch of crap. And as long as I avoid that situation, I'm reasonably happy, whether it's taking, earlier goalies, whether it's taking the mid-round goalies. I just don't really care. And I think that's sort of the evolution of goalies don't matter from DFS. It's like goalies matter a lot, but good luck picking the right one. And so I'm just, I'm heavy on Darcy Kemper. Where is he? Darcy Kemper, I think he's just a guy that I keep clicking on in this range, but it's almost always a comparison to the players around him. It's like, do I want a skater? Do I want one of these guys? Obviously in my slow drafts, there's different names, but like, I just sort of look at it and I go, do I really want to stack someone? Do I have late targets that I'm thinking about for this draft? And odds are, Darcy Kemper is just sort of the guy that's sitting there for me. So
you're up.
Like that's where I'm at currently, but it's not like a huge stand I'm taking or anything. All right. Well, I could. Yeah. See, I'm just gonna grab Sorokin because I'm looking at the top of the board here. Not super interested, and
totally understand. I already have Vasilevsky. I love Gustafsson, Sorokin there. Those are my comfy clicks for sure because I don't have a lot of Vasilevsky right now. I just haven't. Frankly, it just hasn't gotten to me normally when I'm at that top of the leaderboard, when I'm drafting 1, 2, or 3, and I'm just sort of saying, all right, maybe Igor, maybe Ottinger in the third round. Igor's continued to rise. I think that second round mark is going to continue to be there for him, but I grabbed Gunther a little bit above ADP. Kucherov, Gensel, Gunther feels like just an absolutely sensational winger core to get started. You're back on the clock now. I also felt like, but again, use every, like people will ask sometimes like, oh, who do you like at this pick in this round? Like, I mean, I don't get to ask that as much as I'm sure like, the Josh Norrises of the world, but this draft room, I took a look and realized that people, had already taken 2 centers. I think Count MC had 2 centers in the first 2 rounds. So I'm sitting there thinking like maybe one of these top guys that I have probably above others, as far as my next pick will get back to me. You take JT Miller. So that was probably going to be my pick if it got back to me. But I felt like one of these 2 centers I'd be fine with. I mean, I'm not like to the moon and back on either. But if you're going to give me, Nick Suzuki 11 after ADP, I think I just clicked the button. So
DJ loves the Montreal Canadiens this year. You're here to hear first, guys.
I mean, I just think he is actually good. I mean, like last year, it was again one of those clicks that I liked, but popular teams, especially in hockey, I mean, maybe it does exist in the NFL, but there's just such a spread of favorite teams within the fantasy community. But I feel like Montreal is one of the more popular teams because I believe you can draft in Quebec. I could be wrong, but I'm almost positive on that.
You can, yes.
So
every province but Ontario.
Right. Okay. So I do think they get pushed up the board a little bit. So I've been less likely to click. Maybe I'm more like, I think Suzuki is totally justifiable at 50. The 5.4. I don't love him at the where he's normally going in the fourth round.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we've given Nick Suzuki takes and down the board. I think I have a couple of him and they're only stacked with Montreal pieces. So I would expect you to be looking at those guys later on. My decision with JT Miller here was I would, like, in a vacuum, I would just go down the board and grab Bedard or Pedersen. I mean, we just talked about Pedersen's projection and whatnot. And obviously Bedard is just, we're not going to quit him anytime soon. But with McDavid, I don't feel like many Panarins are out there. So a McDavid Panarin start, let's just double down on the Panarin stuff and just take Miller, I don't even think they'll play together on the 5-on-5 lines, but they could. And I think the power play there is clearly something I'm interested in. So just stacking up Rangers, Miller. So basically doubling down on the Panarin bet, which I think is unique with McDavid teams, was why I just opted to follow the ADP train rather than take a dive for who I technically prefer in Bedard and Pedersen. I'm just not being super take heavy when it comes to getting stacks. And, I'm trying to think through like all the different combination stuff that isn't as obvious as a projection.
I was incredibly happy to take any of those 4 centers, and I just decided to take the ADP value in this scenario. I don't know where Suzuki's going to land, but I think his tethering will continue to be to Caulfield when Caulfield drivers can get him. Matt, you're fist pumping. Enjoy what's going on.
Yes, Mark ran the numbers. When he plugs in, not 82 games, but the guy plays every game on the underdog schedule. Austin Matthews, the 101, baby. We're back. We're so back. We've never been more back.
Never. I don't think you ever even left.
And that has Celebrini 14th as well. So we're all doomed again. We've never been less back.
I think I'm gonna get wet, potentially wet and wild. I don't want to say both, but I'm gonna assume it's possible I could get both wet and wild here. And I'm gonna take my first share, Dylan Larkin.
Oh my goodness. A Larkin Suzuki team. Just
I hate
magical stuff.
Give me the players that are actually number 1 centers and not fake number 1 centers in this league.
Wow.
I didn't see anything that was posted.
Just tossing. Just absolutely tossing that one away.
Wet and wild before I get married. I get wet and wild.
Yeah.
Wait.
Let's see.
But I just
Raymond's just the best pick here. He's not making it back to you, DJ. He was never making it 8. He was never making it 12 spots past ADP with us 3 here.
Raymond first.
If you wanted both, I think you had a better chance, because if you look at the 1, 2, 3, we have McKinnon, McDavid, Matthews. So you're more likely to be able to push a center now.
And I don't even get Hedman.
Yeah, does Kitties take Larkin if you took, like maybe, or maybe he just takes Aho anyway. But yeah, I wasn't taking a center, obviously.
Yeah,
I doubt
that was my debate.
So,
I thought there was no way Kitties was going to let him slide past 75, and I'm like, maybe Raymond is just the guy. You take chemo time.
The true final rates monster, in my opinion. Power play time is merely optional for Timo with the way he generates fantasy points. And in fact, on the power play too, there with Luke Hughes or Dougie, whichever it winds up being, as long as they get like 40% of the time, or maybe even 30%, I think I'd rather him be on the second unit than the top unit, where it's tougher for him to contribute. All right, do you stack up Suzuki with the goalie, who he famously defends so well?
Yeah, he doesn't. You know what? I'm only not gonna. I'm not even gonna not do it because I think Martin. I do not understand why Montembeault is so far above like Markstrom and those guys. I'm gonna take a DJ Classic and go with Travis Connecting, a guy that I was kind of all over last year. That like kind of got there, like pretty much got there. I mean, I like 637 or whatever points he had, like good enough. But I wonder if this team is a little bit more fun. No Torts, Michkov again, top power play, like, and like, I think if you just like took a step out and you said Michkov is going like 35 now, like he went like 35 in this draft, and Konechny's going 76, you'd be like, I think maybe we got a step too far, just a step. Like Konechny does everything. I'm not saying he does everything great, but he does everything. Like he tries all the stuffs. Like 94 hits last year for that twerp, not bad.
Yeah, that's going to be a spot I'm very interested in training camp for, because I think Travis Konechny playing on a line with Michkov is a vastly different world than him playing in a 5-on-5 line with Sean Couturier and some plug, while Michkov, Zegras get like the offensive minutes. So like that's, I think, actually a meaningful difference. Now, clearly their power play one will have both Konechny and Michkov if Tocchet wants to keep his job. I was saying Trotz over and over again in my head, and I knew that was wrong. So they're going to share a power play, and ideally that power play gets substantially better than it was last year when it was dog shit. But that is a spot where I think if Konechny's playing like very steadily with Michkov, I will be much more interested in him. But for now, like I said, I took Timo over him very clearly because I value the skill set and the per minute numbers that Timo brings to the floor.
Sure.
More, but
he's
let's
a floor player. Yeah.
So I like Hitzies here at the 3. Confirms. Well, hold on. What is he confirming?
He was saying he was taking Raymond. Then I took Larkin. So we didn't take Raymond. So basically, I was effed either way, and then you took Raymond.
Screwed up. So you screwed up his strategy too. So you're actually playing offense here, DJ. See that's big brain. That's big brain DJ here.
Unlike Dylan Larkin, I'm actually playing offense. Wow, there he goes. Yep. Matt Tkachuk with 89.
With Barkov, I think that's exactly what I talked about last week. Like, if you're betting on Florida to be playing their guys down the stretch, you might as well take Tkachuk and just hope that hope that it matters. So that's fine. This
draft's going, I'd say decently well here for me. Going to be thin at defense. Miro Heiskanen, since the last time we streamed, has flown up the board.
Yeah, we talked about that in the Discord. Have you seen the shit in the Discord, or are you completely oblivious to what I'm about to say?
I'm always oblivious and stupid.
Okay,
yes.
there were a couple drafts the past few nights where someone logged in and just wanted Dallas Stars, and so they were just drafting whatever Rantanen, someone, then Miro at like I see. I have plenty of time, good sir. Let's try. Yeah, let's get Jeremy Swayman for my second goalie.
Yeah, it was time.
We will see what Mano does here, but I don't think I'm giving the game away when Rupe and Heischer make a ton of sense with J-Rob and Timo on this team. I actually don't know which one I prefer. So let's see. Edmonton.
Yeah, I know. This is
there Batherson, Barzal. Edmonton and the Rangers. Edmonton and the Rangers have a nice schedule paired against one another, which is cool. I did not realize that. And Dallas correlates pretty poorly with the Rangers, it looks like, just based on their overlapping weeks.
I like me some Nico.
So I have 3 centers now. Obviously, I'm quite done at center. Well, I mean, I guess I don't have to be because of the flex situation, but I really can't dedicate any more early picks to center. So I'm sort of thinking of hammering defense here and maybe a wing over the next 5 picks. That's sort of where my head's at as we get to this nice range of D-men who I think
Yeah,
I
grabbed Sergachev, one of my highest owned defensemen, just all categories type of player, to go with Dylan Gunther. The player right before Nazem Kadri was kind of my second guy in line. Are you buying the Olympic snub narrative, Nazem Kadri?
No.
Okay.
If Nazem Kadri thinks if he's really gonna let that camp invite motivate him to a great season, then sure. But I would hope that, I don't know, making the playoffs or being a good hockey team would also motivate someone.
Right.
But I
It
do not
doesn't.
think there's a world where Nazem Kadri goes with them to Italy. So,
Mama mia.
what does it really matter?
I'm gonna check it out for him. I'll send him a message from Italy saying, "Hey man, it's great. Try to get there," or I'll say, "Not worth it."
You should just send him the Phil Kessel tweet.
He's never making that roster, but not being invited to the camp at all felt a little weird. Like he was pretty good last year. I don't know. That team was like, I know Dustin Wolf was the story, but like Kadri was doing stuff. He was scoring goals, playing hockey, playing pretty well.
All right.
I don't know. Maybe,
is Scold going off the rails here? Gabe Landeskog here.
Yeah,
that's not where he goes, right?
God, no.
Okay, yeah, he's ADP 160. All right, because the 0 center 6 wing start, like these are perfectly slappy picks. Rantanen, Forsberg, Michkov, Caulfield, like that's a really good start. It's just very jarring to see. Yep, Landeskog, Nichushkin. All right, well, thanks for coming out, Scold. I hope you enjoy your Colorado Avalanche this year. They should be good.
We like that EV, baby. As far as him giving us basically a free square. So now it's 3 of 11.
Yeah. I should say, anyone in these drafts from the other past few days, they haven't been canceled yet, right? Like I'm pretty sure Underdog has a new policy in where if it survives 24 hours, it's not being canceled. So, but I just want to make sure that those drafts weren't canceled and we're just sort of like, I don't know, acting like this matters for ADP when they were actually canceled and something more is happening to ADP.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Mark, are you dropping this in the Discord? A shameless plug for our Discord that we do so well marketing. I actually have a question, Matt. Do you have any idea why like streamers and stuff like push their Discord so hard? Is it just building the community? Like literally, it's not like actually using their data for like I have no idea why that's such a big thing.
No, I couldn't get an email address from Discord if I wanted to, I don't think.
Yeah.
I mean, some people have Discords that are paywalled, so like that's something.
Paywalled.
They go, "Oh, I'm going to do this free stream," and then, oh boy, right before me, Theodore and Dougie go. That
absolutely throttled. I almost feel bad, but I don't.
Yeah, no.
I mean, Harley was left for you. Like I mean, you were sitting there with the actual best defenseman in Dallas to pair. I mean, Hamilton probably would have been better, but and Theodore's. I mean, you're straight up yorking it, and by it, I'm talking about.
Yes, no, definitely. Definitely would have liked Dougie there with the Timo Nico. I certainly would have taken. Gosh, I love seeing Mano be a slappy for Cutter. It just warms my soul.
This might be one of the toughest selections I have to make, and I wonder if you or Kitties are going to make it for me.
I'm going to take Charlie McAvoy.
Yeah, no, I like that pick. Like, it's not who I would have taken, but I do like it.
Yeah, I think I need a defenseman. I have a ton of Jake Chikrin. I love Brandon Montour, but let's just take McAvoy. I already have Swayman, so I also have an out for like a Morgan Geeky or even Elias Lindholm later on if I really want to.
Yeah, so I get both the guys back to me that I was thinking about. I have Suzuki to pair with Slavkovsky, and I have Tippett to pair with Konechny. I feel like the better pair is probably Suzuki Slavkovsky. That makes more sense. It's better ADP value by a little. I tend to like Owen Tippett more than Slavkovsky. What do you think here? Do I just grab your eye?
I think you go Slav. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna do. Yeah.
The correlation angle is just so strong there versus I don't think
Yeah.
there's much of a correlation angle between Konechny and Tippett. Like you need to win multiple bets for that correlation to pay off, which is fine. You can do it if like as a tiebreaker. But I think that the Slavkovsky Suzuki one is just so steadfast. And you drafted Suzuki earlier than I would like him in a vacuum. So like you might as well get him stacked up like with a player who's almost guaranteed to play with him, assuming good health.
By the way, there was a quote today from Connor McDavid. If you didn't see it, I want to prove that scoring 50. Can I say my quote really quickly? I'm sorry, I didn't know it was your turn to talk. I was reading a quote. Maybe you've heard of Connor McDavid. Pretty good. I want to prove that scoring 50 or 60 is not a one-off. I've had 50 goals and I've had 100 assists, and I like goals a little bit more. Does that change your rankings? And then we could talk about Michael taking 16% cutter like me.
That is almost got to be fake.
I believe it's real. That's from Sportsnet. It's from Sportsnet.
Jesus Christ.
He really said this.
I like the goals a little bit more.
Would I lie to you?
I'm trying to make sure that this is not a full lie.
I'm not lying.
Not some AI. Okay, Mark Spector. Here we go. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Picked up the phone for an interview. I mean, the fact that he says, I like the goals a little bit more just sends my heart aflutter. I mean,
a flutter.
That is just
brave.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. I mean, yeah.
DJ, you want to talk about Cutter Gauthier? I can't believe you want to talk about Cutter. Mano wants to talk about Cutter.
He's the only guy I want to talk about. He's my favorite guy. One of my favorite guys, if not my favorite guy, is Cutter Gauthier. And what percentage do I have him at? The people are clamoring to hear, and I'm going to reward them by getting hopefully the accurate data because it's just not giving me all my teams. Not surprising right now, but still not giving me all my teams. How about now? Exposure. 29 teams. I have 27% the GOAT, Cutter Gauthier. 27. Step up. Step up or step out. 16, nothing. 27, now you're cooking.
I only have 20, and I think it's going to go down with all these slow drafts I have going. So
wow. The biggest coward ever?
Yeah. Just I mean, put a fork in me. I'm done. My highest exposure wings: Ryan Donato, Dylan Guenther, Ovi, Tom Wilson, J. Rob, Mikko Rantanen, Owen Tippett. They're all more owned than Cutter. And then I have Michkov at 20%, Holloway 20%, Kyra 20%, Cole Caulfield 20%. So
I'm gonna hit the escape button on Askarov. A lot of centers I like on the board, but seeing the 3-3-3 with the McDavid, Matthews, McKinnon drafters makes me feel like there's a chance I could get one of three centers I really like back to me to be my third to go along with Suzuki Larkin. So I'm gonna grab Askarov. The safety blanket is on.
Yeah, do we just say positions don't matter?
Do we? You just say whatever
Miller, JT Miller, Mika Zibanejad.
I don't disagree.
Panarin. Let's just positions don't matter, guys. Positions don't matter anymore.
Live a little. Hashtag live a little.
We've established that actually you can score 8 centers this year. That's fine. So we're just gonna score all of the centers this year.
Okay. All right. I never considered the fact that you could do that, but now that I've heard it, you may.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I like Byfield more than Zibanejad. I have no reason to draft either as a correlation piece. But Byfield versus Bennett, I think you could easily make a debate either way because of the style of play and the way the scoring system works and all that stuff. Wouldn't be mad either way. I'm clicking Byfield FTB for the brand if he gets to me. If not, I'm fine. Definitely want a third center at this point, though. Suzuki, Larkin. Give me the upside of Byfield or give me the floor of Bennett. I feel pretty good here. My team's coming together pretty flawlessly. So yeah, I'm gonna grab Byfield for the brand. Like I said, 13th round. Give me that. Hoover up that Byfield. Hoovering it.
Okay. Wait. Okay, hold on. When you posted the video about him, wasn't he like 136? And he was like 110? Now he's
Yeah.
140. Like ADP is not real. Roto-Rinker had it right all along. ADP is not real, guys. Doesn't matter.
Nothing matters. We're all gonna die anyways. I'm taking Quentin
Numi
Byfield.
and Brad are just sitting behind there, just scrolling the little wheel, like, oh, what's his ADP gonna be today? And then they just post it, and all of us idiots go pick them.
People were taking didn't one guy take Byfield like back to back, like top 80 or something? I can't remember.
Yeah,
now.
that's
Someone
almost
posted
certainly.
before.
Yeah, that's almost certainly what's happening. It's just some idiot takes them at 60 and then they go up for a couple weeks. Like, yeah, I don't know. It's probably just something like that, which is very annoying. And I bet something like Best Ball, like Mania, doesn't have that because there's so many drafts that random idiots get diluted out so much better. But it would be cool if we had a median draft position. But
yeah. I think
doesn't quite roll off the tongue.
Yeah, I think. Well, I don't think actually. I wonder if the outliers, like you're talking about, affected as much as we think they do based on hockey, like the amount of. I mean, I guess the answer is probably yes because of how many drafts are existing in hockey, but they must affect it a lot more than we would think because of how many like total drafts have happened. But I wonder if there's actually like any weighting that goes on at all.
Well, I think it's a moving window. I'm guessing it's not date weighted, but it's a moving window. So maybe it's 1 day or 3 days or something, and just every draft that finishes within the last.
Right.
Sorry.
Bless you.
Any draft that finishes within like 72 hours just gets clumped together, and that's how they determine ADP. That's what I assume is going on.
Yeah, that's probably right. Sure that would be the only way to make it actually probably make the most sense because if it was all of the drafts throughout all of the time in hockey, there's no way it would move that quickly. Is my point, I guess. It's like it's got to just be a much reduced window. I wonder how reduced it is. But again, like ADP is a good heuristic. If you're actually paying attention to the degree we are, it's a better heuristic because we know what has affected it to the, we're the smartest drafters and everybody else is inferior. So you're going to have to draft 150 teams to beat us. Basic math.
Or draft 300 and, use promo code MSP to make a second account for your dog or whatever.
And I won't tell a soul.
No, of course not.
I am about to be back on the clock. I need a center, need a winger, need a defenseman. All three positions are something I could go after here. And there's just like a lot of guys I like, but not a lot of guys I love. So I think I'm just going to, again, comfy click John Carlson and finish off defense with Sergachev, Theodore, John Carlson, all after ADP besides Sergachev. John Carlson definitely feels like a guy that could be an incredible value or just an absolute non-factor, but at 165, I take that risk.
Yeah, every position is now gone. So I'm just gonna take Colton Parayko. I don't know. I don't feel great that he's now like 100% drafted based on this ADP, but
well, the thing
I feel
about
like
Parayko
he's pretty gross.
Is like his peaks were probably a lot higher than you'd think with his goal scoring. Like if there's a week he has a few goals, comparatively to other defensemen that kind of get there a different way. Like he actually scored, I think, like 14 goals last year, something kind of like higher than you'd think. So I kind of like the pick maybe more than like his actual underdog points because the values are probably pretty bad. But I think he has, it definitely has upside. So there's a lot of guys I like here, but I just don't know. I just don't have a clue who to draft.
Yeah, I think I'm okay waiting on goalie, so I'm just gonna grab a winger. There's probably in a slow draft, I would probably look at like the playoff schedule or something and just see if there's like, I only have one guy with 4 games in this week. But I'm just gonna go the highest upside guy here, and I think that's Kent Johnson. He's gonna kill me probably at least half the weeks. He's gonna put up 10 at most, maybe 15 at most. But if he gets, a 10-point week in 3 games, which he's very capable of, this guy's a wizard with the puck. And none of these other guys I could really, say the same thing about. So I'll take the chance on some upside there.
I grabbed Marco Casper to go with Dylan Larkin. I'm not sure if that's actually going to come together, but it could. I think my center core is kind of this weird hodgepodge of, Suzuki, Larkin, Byfield, Casper. Like, I think there's room to pass the puck around to who's scoring at the flex position if two centers are going to score. So I don't mind taking the correlation. If Larkin goes, ape shit in the finals, Marco Casper could absolutely come along for the ride and be in that flex position. So why not? I need a winger. I have Kucherov, Gensel, Jiminy, Dylan Gunther, Konechny, and Slavkovsky. So I feel like I'm really, really well off that wing. So I'd rather just ensure I get a center that I really like. And then I can just kind of round out my team with one more wing. There's a bunch of guys I like here, but will not spoil the surprise.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I do. The problem is I was trying to fill in a team with 5 wingers from different teams on it, so I was never going to figure out in 30 seconds, where the gaps were for the different wings on the board. Donato was certainly of interest. Laferriere, I would have happily clicked on. And obviously I want Kent Johnson. So like all those guys, all the different team, like there's just a lot of combinations here versus usually when I'm taking a goalie, I have 2 goalies. I can open it up. I can look at it and take the 20 seconds or whatever. No problem. So that's all. And yeah, I don't have a automated assistant with me. So
Well, that would be,
I have what I need.
Smart.
That is true. All right. So I definitely need a goalie here.
I give it every last dollar on who you're going to take. There's one team before you that could take that third goalie.
Yeah.
We don't know who they are. I certainly won't. I think I know who I'm going to pick if they're there, but I have a backup in case they're not. I like my team. I think I could have gotten just a smidge more correlation, but honestly, I think there's enough here. A lot of 2-mans, a lot of, Kucherov, Gensel, Gunther, Sergachev, Slavkovsky, Suzuki, Larkin, Casper. So I was thinking Laferriere made sense, but I mean, I'm always taking Ryan Donato here. Just you're taking Ryan Donato, you're grabbing him with the last pick, and you're just thinking to yourself, the clowns that draft football, that their last round pick, and they're like, I'm taking, not even the last round. In the 10th round, I'm taking Jaden freaking Blue, who's benched week 1. And I'm out here like, who scored like 30 fucking goals last year and is playing with Connor Bedard? Ryan freaking Donato. 4th to last. Not a big deal. I'll just grab him here.
Did you went to Harvard?
Laferriere. Did Jaden Blue? Wait, Donato did too. Wait, did Donato go to Harvard? Honestly, if you put a gun to my head, I would have said BU.
Yeah, I think you're right. I was trying to make the Ryan Fitzpatrick thing where he always comes up.
If I'm wrong about that, I'm more than willing to admit it. But I thought he went to BU.
My God, did he even? Yeah, I know he did play at Harvard. His dad was a coach.
You were right.
Cool.
All right. I definitely thought college hockey guy. Said no.
What was I gonna say? But I think Jaden Blue's hurt, by the way. He had like a foot injury or something. So maybe not quite as matching your little rant there, but anyway.
My entire brand. Just let me have my brand. I have one thing in this world. Are you down to commit to not doing a second draft because there's no fucking way it's gonna fill?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I just eyeballing some teams here. 3-7-3-3s, 4-6-3-3s. We've got a couple, I guess. Actually, we've got 3 outliers here. First up, we have 4-4-5-3. Good old Muddy, who we did not recognize, came through for us. Nothing too crazy here, but then late in the draft just went Dobson, Chikrin, Wallman.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the problem with his draft, besides the 5 defensemen, is that he went, climbed the board multiple times. Wolf, Bobrovsky, and Tavares were all reaches, and it's like I don't think the team was inherently dead at that point, but then he just kind of like went out of his way to kill it, and I don't really understand why.
Yeah, I didn't notice Patrick Kane, 101.
Oh God, yeah. So 3 advance out of 11, and we already said schooled or whatever, 17. Don't think he quite pulled it off. He started Rantanen, Forsberg, Michkov, Caulfield, again going way up for Michkov. I said 35, and I almost thought I was joking. It was 35. He went 35th overall before Kempe and Caulfield. A little bit brave, and no one likes Michkov like I do.
Yeah.
Proceeded to not take a center. Went winger, Kemper, Montembeault, Holloway, Landeskog, Nertushkin. Finally, at pick 131 grabs Hurdle. I just don't think Hurdle's saving your center core there. So probably dusted, but a good team. And like, if you just completely, don't think, like, if you just listen to all the players, you're like, there's a lot of good players there, but like, yeah, not going to win it here. Other than that, I doubt there's a bad team in the mix.
Yeah. I thought Guy's approach was a little interesting. Lane Hudson, Dahlin, 2 defensemen. Having the pick of the litter at 88, I guess because you took Demidov, you could say Hudson goes with that, but like that doesn't mean much to me. So if you say that's a 2v2 of, like Shea Theodore and Dahlin, or even, like literally just any of these 3 guys that we talked about and Dahlin, and then you get a, I guess an Ealer, you get a Batherson with your Brady Tkachuk. Like, so I guess you swap out Hudson for Batherson and Wilson for Dougie or Shea Theodore. That makes a lot more sense to me, just because there's going to be weeks where Hudson doesn't score 6 points and he just kills you because he doesn't do the shooting or the blocking or the hitting. Yeah. So you're relying on Dahlin to play, 3 to 4 games every week instead of 2, and that just obviously doesn't happen. So we'll see, though. I mean, maybe they just have the perfect synchrony and whatnot, but Hudson's a little bit too volatile for me to say that's a good, like, 2D, D2, if that makes sense.
Yes, Mighty Ducks D2, I believe it was called.
Yeah.
Sure. Why don't we run through our teams and get out of here? Shorter stream today, but Underdog is just not cooperating the way we'd like. One thing I did notice is that all of the first 4 teams, and all of these are prominent drafters, Count MC, Moods, I Like Kitties, and DJ Sabres are teams you will see along the way. None of us took a defenseman until Victor Hedman in the 7th round. Then Sergachev was the second defenseman of the first 4 teams. Kind of a commonality, I think, from good drafters often. But I'm not saying that as a way of saying like the other defense or people are stupid or the other defensemen are bad, but like everyone seemed so gung-ho to run up.
Mano, my guy, he's absolutely just heeing and hawing over here. I love it. Absolutely love it.
But I think this was an indication more so that a room that took Werenski at 18 and Hughes at 20, and like we were not willing to jump up the board to join that sort of momentum because it's unnecessary at defenseman. So I think it's, again, like being a smart drafter and you just learn these things over time by drafting more teams and knowing sort of like how the landscape works. So basically, again, saying that, come take the crown from me and Mano. Matt, I know one day I think you've been in a final at least on like Davis Maddock and stuff. So like you're allowed to, you've looked at the crown, but
I finished in 3rd in 2 years ago.
Yeah, you were at the podium. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Put it in your profile. Best puck 3rd place finisher.
Well, I'll just recarve the DraftKings trophy I have for finishing 3rd place at the Fantasy Hockey World Championship in 2021, 22, whatever it was. I'll just recarve that one for Underdog.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, before I talk about my team and your team, this 3-8-2-3 team is also interesting. Tom mentions Makar and Yossi being too much for him personally, though, in a 2D room. Like, that to me feels like more of a personal thing than like, oh, that definitely can't work. Because too much capital, I honestly don't know how to feel about too much when it comes to under investing in a position because of the flex situation now. Like, if both of these guys have spike weeks, you're just not tarnishing another position like you were if you're basically saying they need to use a flex in a 1 flex scoring setup. I don't know whether that's true or false or not, but basically the setup was Point, Bedard, Barkov at center, having Barkov taking Tkachuk sort of iced body for half the year, as we've talked about, and then drafting 7 healthy wings on top of that. So starting Kyle Connor, DeBrincat, and then just hammering it at the end. Because the 3 goalies I like, Vejmelka, Luukkonen, Skinner, like that's a fine goalie room to me. Maybe a little light on job security, but like we've talked Skinner over and over again. Like that's certainly the last guy that I'm super comfortable with. But just hammering the wing position late, like I think that's viable. Like, I would quibble some of the names. Like I'd rather have Geeky than Stone, and I'd rather have Donato than Huberto. But like, I think the approach is actually really interesting. So I don't know. I guess I saw Tom mention that, and I was like, I was actually okay with it.
Well, no, I don't have to say this. I know I have a 2 defenseman team. I took Makar and Sider on one of my teams and stopped there. I just kind of felt like the Sider floor is so good in weeks where maybe Makar doesn't have as many games, and I'm sure teams will have a scheduled break, that I'm not worried about it. And Makar's upside is obviously to the moon. I mean, there's no defenseman that can quite match it. Only Renski came close, and obviously Quinn Hughes has at least flirts with it. And we pray Rasmus Dahlin gets somewhat close. But again, like the point is I think of the exercise here is like it is incredibly doable. It's a strategy I have no problem employing a 2 defenseman build. I think especially when you have Cale Makar, because like you're betting on him nuking the defense of field, like just putting it to bed entirely, making it a must-have type of finals situation, and like you're going to need to make up the points and maybe a different way than others have done. So definitely about it. And I think I tagged you in on it. I don't even know. Someone is asking me like for a noob, like, what do you think? Like anything like basic clip notes. And I tagged him your stuff as well if you want us to get more in the weeds. But like I said, that the standard is a 4-6-3-3. I think that's a good heuristic. But like going off of the 4-6-6-3 is good and fine, and no one should be like, I think that the 3-7-3-3 was like decently obvious, but again, I had a few teams that strayed. Now I think it's even more ambiguous. Exactly what we need to do with the extra flex position. So, yeah, I think stray away.
Stray away.
Want to run through our teams and get out of here?
Yeah, we can.
I actually have to work tomorrow. Do you know that? I'm back to working on Fridays right now.
Oh, you poor thing.
It sucks.
Yeah, well, I mean, objectively that sucks, but smile because it happened, don't cry because it's over, I think is the phrase I would use there.
Mm-hmm. Do your team.
Sure. I took McDavid, Panarin, J-Rob, Sorokin, JT Miller, Lucas Raymond, Timo, Jeremy Swayman, Nico Hischier, Thomas Harley, Charlie McAvoy, Mika Zibanejad, Tyler Toffoli, Colton Parayko, Kent Johnson, and Sam Harrison. That means I have a pretty sizable bet on the Rangers in this 4-6-3-3 build. I didn't correlate anyone with McDavid. I didn't even think to look at where RNH was going. So
he went super late.
I guess I could have stacked him with McDavid, I guess, in this Kent Johnson spot. Honestly.
Oh, he did go. Yeah, he did go.
Yeah. I didn't even think about it though. So maybe that's a miss, but ultimately I have enough I have enough RNH with McDavid, I think. Because I'm still like 14 or 15% McDavid, and I think I have at least 5 to 6% RNH on those teams.
Sure.
So whatever, not a big deal. Smaller bets are Dallas with J-Rob and Harley, and then New Jersey with Timo and Nico Hischier. So I'm fine with this team. Maybe in the mid rounds, I like the problem, quote unquote problem, would have been taking Zibanejad, just because did I need a 4th center? Absolutely not. So I could feel a bit better about the wings on this team, or by extension had a more reliable 3rd goalie, but I'm not super worried about that, honestly. So I'm fine with the team.
Okay. I started the Tampa 3, Kucherov, Vasilevsky, Gensel. Gensel and Point were on the board. I still think I go Gensel there. I just think he's a bit more prolific as an upside play, and I would have probably taken either, all things considered. Then my next turn, I went with Dylan Guenther. We talked about it at the beginning of the show. I think, sky's the limit. Could be a 40-goal scorer in this league. Suzuki fell 11 spots after ADP, so I grabbed him. Dylan Larkin just a little bit after ADP, but I thought it was I think it's my first Dylan Larkin team, to be honest, and I just kind of wanted to build the center core out a little bit. I know Larkin, started the year last year. He was one of the highest scoring players. I believe it was last year. Maybe it was the year before, but I still think there's a lot of upside in him. He's just like not as good as he's a worse player than Aho. Can he be better in fantasy? Is sort of the question. Travis Konechny, again, a guy that's continued to fall down the board, but I have no problem taking him. Logan Thompson as my goalie too. I think he's just cemented in that net. I think he's just legitimately good. I was him or Swayman. I went with Thompson. You went with Swayman. Needed this defense to get going. Sergachev to go with Guenther. I took Shea Theodore. Best player available. I think 117 is still a bit of a disservice. Is just how good he is and the upside he should have. And as the number one defenseman, no Pietrangelo. Hanifin is just not the guy that they sort of traded for. It feels like when they traded for him and they put him on that top power play and started the year kind of with that, just didn't click. Theodore is just the best, and he's going to be right back there. Slavkovsky to go with Suzuki, Askarov to close out the net, Byfield to be my highest drafted player and continuing onward. I'm going to be betting him for 30 goals this year. If he scores 30, he's going to be a smash. John Carlson to get the defense closed. Marco Kasper to go with Larkin, and finally Ryan 30 goal plus Donato. I love this team. Big bets on Tampa, little bets on Montreal, Detroit, Utah, and that's really it for correlations. But a lot of correlations. It's just, will any of them be the right ones? I sure hope Kucherov and Gensel are, for this team's sake.
Yeah. All right. So I think this will be a shorter one than most streams from here on out. Obviously, well, I don't know if you've said this on stream yet, but DJ's out for, I think, a couple weeks coming up here toward the end of September. So we will be trying to figure out what we do without DJ to talk to. I'm guessing that just results in me doing more YouTube stuff rather than trying to stream on my own, because honestly, I don't particularly think that that's a good use of my time or your time as a audience, because I don't know. I'm here to make fun of DJ and talk about things for 10 minutes and then I can't do that on my own. I can't just, how do you tangent yourself, So we'll see though. I mean, obviously the newsletter stuff, I'm coming up with ideas. It's tough, I don't really know what to do, because I have some ideas and some of them I just think, oh, that's dumb. And then, I work a job and I go, well, I don't want to do this today. So we're churning stuff out slowly but surely. So yeah, just make sure you stay tuned to the Discord, to my Twitter, to whatever. You won't miss a thing. But DJ, you're around next week, right?
Around next week. I leave the 17th. So
all right.
Yep. Looking forward to it. Really, really excited. Still just kind of booking little pieces right now. Taking in a ton of advice. We got a mini fan, as you suggested. Just kind of get everything going. My friend, and I guess I'll say our friend Mike, went to Italy he just got back a couple days ago and has a bunch of suggestions, but his main one, there was two main ones. Number one was to bring things to resist chafing. Okay. He said it's very humid. It's kind of Florida-like, he felt like. And his wife said, agreed. Good idea. Also stamp approval. Before, and actually, to be entirely honest, she kind of brought that up at first. And he's like, the number one thing, you need to use bidets. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, they're great. And I'm like, cool. And he's like, I don't know why you're being so weird about the bidets. I'm like, I'm not being weird. I didn't think about this. And he's like, you're being weird that you don't want to use them. Do you think they're gay? I'm like, no, I hadn't considered. I wasn't thinking about this. I wasn't thinking I can't wait to go to Italy to use a bidet. That doesn't compute to me. I never.
I associate that with. I don't associate that with
Japan
Europe. I associate that with. Yeah, Asia. But yeah.
So, and he's like, no, there's bidets in the hotels and you're going to want to use them. And I'm like, oh, maybe. Like, I just don't know. I don't.
Yeah, Mark's idea here to bring back the Fever Dream stream. I did see Matt's getting back into it. Nolt here is getting back into drafting, so we'll see.
Drafts.
I don't. Is he currently? Is Mike alive? Have we heard from Mike recently? Let's see.
I mean, it's summer. He's got kids, I bet.
Yeah, he definitely does.
Definitely does. They both do. I mean, the thing is, if I don't hear some hee haw, I mean, I might not come back from Italy. I might just stay. I'm gonna need to hear it. I will. I'm excited. I mean, I don't know what I'm most excited for. So leave the comment for the thousands of viewers. Which place in Italy should I be most excited for? And like, comment, subscribe, or
was I not listening, or did you not list the cities you're going to?
Oh, you want me to list them? I could list them. I mean, there's
I figured, like, I mean, there's many places in Italy.
Yeah, but then we're gonna get less comments because people are only gonna say the ones they've been to. Everything's about me. It's not about us. You know what I'm saying? Let me list off the cities just for you, though, Matt, so you can spy on me. I land in Rome, a very popular city. Many of you have probably heard of Rome, Italy. It's pretty cool. When in Rome, I'm going to say, and people are going to chuckle and laugh and think I'm just this really cool tourist that they love. Then we go to Capri, I guess the island of Capri, as I mentioned, which is, I guess, named after goats in some capacity. Look it up. I don't know. This is what I was told. I will be on Capri, then leaving for Sorrento. Sorrento, like the cheese, I do declare. It's my understanding is it's essentially Amalfi, but like quieter normally and less touristy, but like more like resort-like and nice. And that just, our debate was like, do we do a resort? Do we do Europe? And I was like, I want to do Europe. What if we do 5 days in Sorrento? So our biggest stay is in Sorrento. And it, like, again, a resort, but not like a Cancun resort, not all inclusive, but a resort. Then we go right up to Pompeii. I believe there's a chance of a volcano eruption that could take me out and everyone would be thrilled. But if it doesn't,
my one card.
just the absolute worst luck. It can't get the 101. Volcano in Pompeii, Vesuvius 2.0. What did I do wrong? So then I will go from Pompeii back to Rome and then fly back to Toronto, where I'm flying out of and back in, because Buffalo really is an international hub. Believe it or not. So yeah, really excited. I mean, all of it sounds great. Never been to Italy. I've been to Europe with you, but never been to Italy. So super excited. Have you been to Italy, right?
Yeah, I studied abroad there, and I've gone. Wait, have I?
Have you gone twice? I don't know. That was sort of my debate.
No, I haven't.
What was your favorite part of Italy before we close out?
I mean, Venice was sick. I got lost for about 6 hours with a dead phone and a suitcase, and pulling a suitcase around the rocks, like it's not like a paved road. It's like, like rocky, what the fuck? I can't think of what the term is for a brick road, but it's very bumpy. And I say this not in jest, because it was literally one of the best days of my life. I was completely lost. I had no clue where the hostel was I was supposed to be at. And somehow, by the grace of God, I got back to the train station, after many hours, and was like, all right, I'm supposed to go left and then right and then cross this canal. I had all this memorized, and then I just found it. So it ended up being like an awesome day, just like walking around, seeing things. So that was really cool. I mean, Venice is one of the most beautiful places on earth. And then I had the most fun, I think, in Florence. Not like fun, but just like the most like authentic experience. Like I found this little hole in the wall, like, I was 19, but I found like this hole in the wall trattoria or whatever, they brought out like many dishes of food, and I just drank wine and ate like unbelievable food, and I never had half of it before. And they fed us at study abroad. It wasn't the most extravagant meal or anything, so that like little getaway was really fun for me. But yeah, maybe if I went back, I'm much more traveled now. Not much more. I'm more traveled now than I was then, when I literally never left the continent as a until
I would
then.
say traveling with Matt, it like obviously it depends on the person you are. Like I feel like I like to think of myself as someone that like is just try not to be overly pushy about doing what I want to do, but I plan a lot of it. Like I like to plan things. So I try to just be like, this is the plan. Hopefully everyone wants it. Matt is the most like, does not want to play. Like, I'm in whatever you want to do. I'll go anywhere. So the fact that you're just like, yeah, one of the best parts is this hole in the wall place. Guarantee you didn't pick it out. Someone else was probably like,
I was alone.
You were alone.
The Europe thing I did alone. Well, obviously I studied abroad with people, but the trip I did to Italy, I was alone for, which was really unique. Yeah.
So I could think there's definitely different levels.
Which again is why I picked a random place, is why I got lost in Venice. Like I was just, I didn't
said nothing. Yeah, you didn't plan it. Like
like
when we went to Europe, I'd say a fair amount of the planning. I'd say most of the planning. Is that fair to say?
The only thing I remember at this point is that I missed my flight to London because they sent the plane from Philly to Boston. They sent the pilot from Philly to Vegas, and they just said, "Screw you, Boston people," and I missed the flight. So everything else, who planned what, I don't know. We had fun.
And we're some of the few people that can say we've seen the Sabres lose twice in Sweden in real NHL games.
Yeah.
I mean, what a trip. And you know what I will say? The last note I will say is that going to London and getting free tickets to the football game in Wembley was awesome. The football game was whatever. I mean, it was a football game. Who really cares? But like the people that wanted to talk about football from London, I mean, really just probably England in general, want to talk with the NFL. Like, it was so cool to just listen to these people just like gush over Bill's tailgates, and like they were just like, this is so like, we love this. Like I'm like, that's crazy to me. Like, you could do so much better. But no, it was actually, I obviously didn't say any of this shit to them. I was obviously, but it was really fun. Honestly, that was the one thing I think you missed. That was like, I think a lot of the stuff in England was cool, but like, that part, that side quest, I thought was actually like, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I still haven't been back, or I still haven't been to England. I went to Ireland for a day, and I've hit up France, southern France, Switzerland, Germany, but I've never been to the UK. So, yeah, on the list. Anyway, let's get out of here.
Twice.
Time to watch Osaka and Anisimova. It's time to watch whatever the hell the football teams are doing. I think there was a fumble or something.
No, I checked Twitter quickly and I got so confused because everyone was like bitching and moaning. The game got delayed for the Lightning.
Oh, I did just hear it start pouring.
You are in Philly. Oh yeah. No, I thought
it's literally it's like an hour. It's a mile from me. Like, the stadium's literally a mile from me. So, interesting. Anyway, God, we're really bad at closing out.
Yeah, we're really bad at closing out. I hope as well, Tom, there's a Carl Hardy's in Italy as well. Other than that, no, I think we're good. Go Sabres.
No. Moods.beehive.com, at Fake Moods on YouTube and on Twitter, for more stuff. Make sure you follow me. And join the Discord. DM one of us if you don't have the link already.
And join the Discord so we can do something with that data, because it's important, I guess. And we have... Okay. Matt, continue to close this out, or else
DJ, didn't you make a clip, or are we just not doing that?
The Michkov clip I made?
No, you made a clip for the show.
Oh my God. I did make a clip for the show. I should play it. That took a lot of time. Okay. I'm going to close it with the thing I made. I should meant to do that at the beginning. I truly forgot. All right. From Doug, from Matt, from myself, have a good rest of your summer, technically, and don't enjoy any football. You're sitting there looking like an idiot.
Well, is that any different than normal?
This is the first time I will admit was unbelievably wrong.